Dear
Hello.
participants, a very good afternoon to you all. Welcome back to the technical session after the lunch. Here we have Dr. Ionis Paulis, the Associate Professor, Center for Heritage Management, Ahmedabad University, Gujarat, joining us. And he'll be dealing the topic and analysis of marketing strategy at museum in Athens, Greece. He has quite an impressive profile. Sir, as I told you earlier, is an associate professor at the Center for Heritage Management, Ahmedabad University, Gujarat. He conducted his PhD research in living heritage tourism and sustainable development at University College, London, and also attended MBA electives in business strategy and management at London Business School. His area of interest are living heritage, tourism, and sustainable development, business strategy for heritage organization, designing visitor experiences. His teaching, research, and consulting activity concerns the areas such as designing and implementing the living heritage approach, that is, an innovative community-based center approach towards heritage management and sustainable development, crafting business strategy for heritage and tourism organization, designing visitors experience, reconciling development energy plans to archaeological sites and local communities. He has taught at all the Hellenic Open University and at the UNESCO Venice Office School on Sustainable Energy Governance in World Heritage Sites. And he has been invited to present at various universities and conferences in Europe and Asia. He provides consultancy services to international organization, ICC, ROM, national and local organization, and private companies. He has published a series of papers, edited books, and authored the book, The Past in the Present, A Living Heritage Approach in Greece. His paper discussing strategies in heritage conservation, a living heritage approach as an example of strategic innovation, was selected as an outstanding paper in the 2015 Emerald Network Awards for Excellence. He was also invited internationally to review NARA plus 20 documents paper, racing at the blue ocean and tapping into the mental models of conservation. He is associated in research with iTreasures, capturing the intangible European Union project on the documentation and safeguarding of intangible heritage through the applicants of new technology. He has a greater publication records, having published more than 4 books and 20 articles in national and international journals. Dear participants, please note Dr. Ionis, though he works in Gujarat, at present is joining us from Greece. May I now have the privilege to invite Dr. Ionis to deliberate on an analysis of marketing strategy in museums in Athens, Greece. Over to you, sir.
Hello.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. So please allow me to share my screen. Yes,
Yes,
can you all hear me?
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes. So hang on a minute. Allow me to share my screen. Hang on a minute. Sorry for this. Let me, give me a second. Sorry for that. Give me a second.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No problem.
Can you see my screen right now?
No, sir,
Sorry.
it's not visible. So I think you have not shared the screen, sir.
Hang on a minute then. Can you share?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you see my screen? Okay, perfect.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Sorry for these technical issues. I would like to thank the organizers of the conference for the invitation. Um, Today I will talk about an analysis of the tourism policy of the branding tourism policy of Athens, Greece, with an emphasis on the Acropolis Museum and the Acropolis. And the reason that I chose to speak about this specific topic today is the relevance to the times that we're all going through right now. I'm saying that because this tourism campaign was designed in 2010. 2010 was a very difficult moment for internationally speaking, but also to Greece because of the financial crisis. It was a moment, financial crisis started some years earlier than that due to Lehman Brothers, etc. But it had a very severe impact upon Greece. And in 2010, it started reaching its climax, although more were about to come. So I chose to talk about this tourism policy because of its relevance to today's COVID or post-COVID era associated to financial issues and financial crisis that has already started, another financial crisis that has already started or is about to start. This is the reason that I chose to speak, to present this specific tourism policy. So what we will do today is that we will watch we will watch the spot together, and then we will analyze this spot, and at the end we will make some broader conclusions that could be applicable even today, especially to periods of financial or whatever type of crisis. So this will be the structure of the presentation. The spot that we're going to watch together addresses mostly foreign tourists, foreign visitors. So we will watch the spot, and then we will analyze the spot. Okay, please let me know whether you would be able to see the spot together with me. Let's start the spot. I'm sorry for that. Can you see the spot? No, you cannot. You can see that, but it does not play. Am I right on that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Um, can you now see the spot playing?
No, sir.
Now, no?
No, sir. It's not playing.
Okay. May I kindly ask, because there is a technical issue and I don't know why it plays. May I send you the link so that you play it for me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Would that
sir.
be possible? May I send it to Vinod Kumar
Yes, sir.
WhatsApp? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You send it to Dr. Vinod. We'll receive it. Yes, sir.
This is the spot. I already sent it.
Yeah.
Even now, you cannot see that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We cannot see, sir. But I think we have got the data, sir. We are processing it, sir. Just a while.
Yeah. Yes, perfect. So I can see it with you.
Yes, sir.
So let's see it, all of us together, and then we will analyze that.
Visiting Greece is an experience, not a one-time visit. Henry Miller wrote a whole book and still didn't come close to describing it in one sentence.
It is the center of the world. It's the center of democracy, civilization, and if it began here, we need to know it.
You've seen pictures of the Parthenon your entire life, and then you actually see it.
It's crazy to be here. I studied a lot of ancient art, and seeing it all in person is really amazing.
I just think the new museum is brilliant. I think they've done such a good job, and I think the Greek people should be proud because it's wonderful.
Cultural life here in Greece, people are going a lot to concerts, a lot in the theaters, to the cinema, much more than in Germany, for example.
But I'd love to come and stay for a while. The restaurants, the hotels, and all the people, very nice, very special trip.
Very positive experience. Everybody's been very friendly.
The restaurant owners and people that we've interacted with have been able to speak English with us. We don't know any Greek, and so it's been very useful to find a lot of that hospitality.
I think the accommodations for tourists are very good because you have the new boulevard that they made. It connects everything. You can easily get from one place to the other. So the infrastructure is actually really good, and the subway services are fantastic.
Once we got into it, it's been really great.
Authentic everyday life that you can find on islands, and then the food.
Athens lives till very late in the night. There were people who were partying on the streets. It was 2, 3 in the morning. I mean, the city was still alive.
The nightlife is good. I mean, you go out and you just stay out for hours.
They smash plates and say, "Opa!"
We tuckered out. Athens kicked our butt.
Greece is a destination that I would definitely recommend to my family and friends.
I feel safe living in Greece, very safe, and it's a very important point for me compared to France or other places where I used to live.
Very
clean and nice people, and we're very happy.
Mary, Osha,
Richard,
Paola,
Thomas,
Lorena,
Ashton, Mike,
Ali,
Joe, Patricia, Julian,
Christian, John,
Valentina, Stephanie,
Michael,
Laura, Nina,
John,
Peter, Ingrid.
So, Dr. Vinod Kumar, thank you very much for playing the video for us. Now, I would kindly ask you, I'm sorry that I cannot have access to that so that I can pause it. I would kindly ask you to start it for me, for us, and then make some pauses every time that I say pause in order to explain what is. So please, could you play that again for us? And I will ask to pause every 1 or 2 or 3 seconds or 10 seconds so that we can analyze that. I'm sorry that I do not have access for technical reasons to pause that on my own. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So we will watch the same. So, stop, pause. So, we say you in Greece, it starts with you in Greece, you in Athens. So the topic of the spot is shown from the very beginning. And also it is important that the date, the period that the spot was shot is shown, May 2010. This is important because the spot would like to convey the message that it was done in this period that of the crisis. So it is a freshly made spot that was done at this very important point. It is an important message to convey to the visitor as soon as possible. And what we see right now is that it starts from the profile of the country and also of the place. So we see the sea, we see the birds, we see the sun. So it immediately becomes. So these are used as iconic signs: the sea, the sun, the birds of the tourism profile of the country and the city. Let us proceed. The sea, the sun, you see the birds.
Visiting Greece is an experience, not a one.
So what this spot does is that for the conventional way of portraying tourism spots, of making tourism spots, was to take some, and even today, was to take some VIPs that are very known to the public. For example, some actors, Hollywood actors, if it addresses to the international community, or Bollywood actors, for example, if it addresses to India. And they read a prepared, prescribed text. So they use some strong brands, these famous actors or footballers or cricket players, etc., in order to convey the message in a prescribed text. Here, they use a different way. They use some very common people that they are real visitors of the country at that time, May 2010, and they talk about their experiences. This is called a testimonial. Why they choose this technique, the technique of testimonials, is because they would like in real time and with real people, real visitors, to convey the message that Greece is worth visiting, is a safe destination, etc. And also using common people is a very economical method of advertising. it costs almost nothing. And in fact, throughout so these visitors become the transmitters of the message. They become, let's say, phenomenally the key players of this video. Phenomenally, because we will analyze that further. They choose visitors who come from Western countries. So they start with Peter, USA. So we have the visitor, and then we have the, let's say, the affiliation, the basic statistics, the basic information of that, his name and the country that he comes from, the person comes from. It is very interesting to note that all visitors are chosen to be from Western countries. Why is that? Because the negative profile of Greece in crisis, etc., was mostly conveyed through international media, but also international media addressing Western Western customers. That's why they try to make use of Western tourists in this spot. So this does not mean that the whole tourism policy of Greece excludes people from China, people from India, etc. But because of this specific period and the impact of the crisis, etc., on Greece and its impact on the Western world not coming to Greece, they choose to target Western visitors. The other reason that they choose to target Western visitors is that Greece, and especially Athens, is branded, especially in this period of 2010 and for some years afterwards, as a city break. In order, and city break, of course, refers to customers, to travelers from Western Union. So even if Americans will not come to Greece for a long weekend, but it will be the Austrians, it will be the Germans, it will be the French, it will be people from the Western Europe that will come to Greece as a city break, they also incorporate Americans in order to further enhance this Western image, this Western profile of the country and of the city. This is very interesting to note. Another comment that is being made from the very, very beginning is that visiting Greece is an experience. So visiting Greece is not simply let's say, something that you go to there and you spend some nice time, you have some nice food, etc., and then you come back to your country. But it is an experience. So the business model of designing experiences is applied there. Experience is different from service.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Memorable. It is memorable. It is imprinted in the memory, in the mind, in the soul of the people. And this makes the people the best, the very loyal customers, very eager to come back to Greece, etc., to extend their visit to Greece and Athens. So it's not about Greece offering good services. It's about Greece offering memorable lifetime experiences. That's why they choose to start from that. And as this person will say afterwards, and he's an American, Henry Miller is one of the top theatrical play he's an American. So even Henry has written a book about that, and he has not come closer to that. So an American addressing Americans and Western travelers says that visiting Greece is much stronger than whatever even Henry Miller would have written. So this is a strong argument, because he's an American that says that. He's not a Greek or a Chinese person talking about Henry Miller. Let us proceed with the spot.
Time visit. Henry Miller wrote a whole book and still didn't come close to describing it in one sentence.
And then pause. We start.
It is the center of the world. It's the center of democracy, civilization, and if it began here, we need to know it.
You've seen pictures of the Parthenon your entire life, and then you actually see it.
It's crazy to be here. I studied a lot of ancient art, and seeing it all in person is really amazing.
I just think the new museum is brilliant. I think they've done such a good job, and I think the Greek people should be proud because it's wonderful.
Cultural life here in Greece.
So we saw it starts from the Acropolis Museum. It starts, and if you noticed, it shows some modern facilities of the museum. So the message that they're trying to portray is that Greece is not only about ancient culture, but it offers modern facilities. This has to do with the message, the profile, the Western profile of a Western metropolis, of a modern metropolis, providing modern facilities, etc. Another issue saw the difference from Greece, the similarity of Greece in relation to other Western metropolis, Western cities, such as London, such as Vienna, such as so many cities. The similarity is that Greece and Athens is also a Western metropolis, a Western capital city. So it provides all modern facilities, while the competitive advantage of Athens in relation to the other Western cities is that unlike the other Western cities, London, Vienna, Paris, Athens has a very strong heritage. That's why it starts from the Acropolis Museum. And you saw that the people talking are people who are talking about democracy. It's the center of the world, and it's the center of democracy. So we should all know about it. Western ideals like democracy, Greece as the cradle, as the place of the birth of democracy, Greece as the cradle of Western civilization. So it emphasizes on this Western profile. I've studied ancient art. I've seen pictures of the Parthenon throughout my life, and now I see it in real. So it goes back to the Western to the principles of Western education that are heavily based on Greek and Roman culture, and especially Greek culture, the Acropolis, Parthenon, etc. I've seen pictures, but seeing that in real, so reality is very different, seeing them in real. So reality goes far beyond any kind of pictures, any kind of whatever we have read or whatever we have seen in pictures or whatever any tourism campaign can show us. Reality is far beyond that. So the experience is much stronger than visiting a website saying, you know, Greece is a nice place and offers good food and has, you know, is a fun place to be. So reality, this real experience goes beyond any kind of images. And at the same time, this person starts talking about cinemas, and you will see people talking about contemporary culture. So we see that linked to this Western profile, Athens is a place of heritage, but it's not only about heritage, it's also a place of contemporary culture. So it's not only a place that exhibits and also safeguards heritage. As you remember, some of the people in the museum said, "Oh, these people here have. It's a wonderful museum. They have done such a great job." So it conveys the message that people are not, the Greece of today does not only exhibit heritage of the past, but also is capable of safeguarding, of building museums in order to highlight the heritage of the past. And at the same time, the Athens of today, Greece of today, is capable of producing contemporary culture, culture of today. So it has a lot of cinemas, it has contemporary art, etc. It focuses on the culture of today. Another message that is conveyed is that if you see even what this gentleman, to focus on the clothes and the body language, you see that they are all dressed in light clothes, very light clothes. And it's all about sun and light. So the message that is conveyed is that Greece is mostly a summer destination, and even a summer destination. And summer is not just 2 months of the year, but it's the extended summer of 8 months. So it's a summer destination. And as you see, from judging from the sunlight and the light clothes, and as you see the body language, the people before, but also this gentleman, they're happy in terms of the intonation, in terms of the posture, in terms of moving their hands. They're happy to be there. So it's not only the verbal message, the words that they say that, you know, it's very nice to be there, but the whole posture, the way they move, the way they talk shows that they're excited about that. Let us proceed.
People are going a lot to concerts, a lot in the theaters, to the cinema, much more than in Germany, for example.
But I'd love to come and stay for a while. And the restaurants, the hotels, and all the people, very nice, very special trip.
So we see then it focuses on the Acropolis, and you see, so, and we will see that the Acropolis, it always goes back to the Acropolis. And over the course of the spot, we will see continual successive images of the Acropolis. And then there are some interventions like talking about concerts, talking about contemporary culture, etc. But then it goes back to the Acropolis. And so the key player, the protagonist, the key actor of this spot is not the people. The people who are talking about their experiences of visiting Greece, the key actor, they transmit the message and they help towards focusing on the Acropolis. So the key actor of this video and the main reason of visiting Greece is heritage, is the Acropolis, is the heritage site. And in the meantime, as you see, we have some images of, this is the image of the airport. So traveling to Greece, reaching Greece, the message that is conveyed to the visitors is something very easy because Greece has a very modern airport. So it's easy to reach this destination. Let us proceed. Let us proceed with the spot.
Very positive experience. Everybody's been very friendly.
The restaurant owners and people that we've interacted with have been able to speak English with us. We don't know any Greek, and so it's been very useful to find a lot of that hospitality.
Stop.
I think the...
Pause. So we see people talking about restaurants, etc. So again, a modern country full of hospitality. People are talking, are speaking English. So this is an important issue to remember. So even if you don't know the language, and who speaks Greek? Nobody in the world speaks Greek. So if you don't know the language, it's not an issue. So it conveys the message that it's not an issue. And you saw the image of the museum and the Acropolis together. So the modern museum with the Acropolis again. Now these people are talking about modern facilities, boulevards, etc., bars. Let us proceed. So all modern contemporary life, nightlife. Let us.
The accommodations for tourists are very good because you have the new boulevard that they made. It connects everything. You can easily get from one place to the other. So the infrastructure is actually really good, and the subway services are fantastic.
Metro, as you see. The metro, you see the metro. So it's not only the airport that reaching the destination is easy. Even within the city, to travel within the city, it is something very easy. This goes back to the journey, to experience as a journey. This means that the reaching the destination, within the destination, coming back is something very easy and full of individual experiences. This is the message that they're trying to convey. It's very easy to go there. It's very safe to go there. It's very safe and easy to travel within the city, and it's very easy and safe to come back, especially in periods of crisis, etc. And there were also a period of terrorism activities going on in Europe. This period, it is important to convey the message that it's a safe destination. It's safe to use the airport. It's safe to use the metro, etc. Safe and easy. Let us proceed.
Once we got into it, it's been really great.
Again, contemporary exhibition. Contemporary exhibitions again. So a country that produces contemporary culture. Let us proceed.
Authentic everyday life that you can find on islands, and then the food.
Athens lives till very late in the night. There were people who were partying on the streets. It was 2, 3 in the morning. I mean, the city was still alive.
The nightlife is good. I mean, you go out and you just stay out for hours.
They smash plates and say, "Opa!"
Oh, stop.
We tuckered out. Athens kicked our butt.
So they talked about nightlife, etc., because it's one of the strong, let's say, images, mental models that Greece is associated to islands, to nice food, and also nightlife. So this is conveyed in a strong way. And if you saw another detail, I will send you the clip so that you can go back, and I will also send you a paper that talks about, further analyzes these issues. The Acropolis is also in white and shed into the light, and the people who are talking wear bright clothes of bright colors, so that there is a contrast between the bright colors and this white, because in our mind, marbles are always white, and this is what relates to the issue of authenticity. So the authentic heritage is highlighted against the modern fashion, modern clothes, etc., so that there is more emphasis on that. Let us proceed.
Greece is a destination that I would definitely recommend to my family and friends.
Metro again, and please focus on what this lady from France is saying. And it is not, and France is a country that has suffered from terrorist activities. So now we will listen to what this French lady says.
I feel safe living in Greece, very safe, and it's a very important point for me compared to France or other places where I used to live.
Very clean and nice people, and we're very happy.
Stop. You see that there is an emphasis on the safety, because one of the reasons, as we said, the main reason that this tourism campaign was designed is its link to the safety. It has to demonstrate that Athens, Greece is a safe destination. That's why this is a French lady. France has suffered from tourism activities. So a French lady that has been living in Greece for a long time says that, you know, Greece is much safer than France. And I come from France, and other destinations, other places that I have used to be living in the past. So she highly recommends Greece as a safe destination. This is a very strong point to be made. And then getting back to the Acropolis, as we see right now, you see again that people are wearing, you know, dark clothes, and you see the white marbles, etc., in the on the background. This contrast that I was mentioning. Let us proceed with the video.
Mary, Osha,
Richard,
Paola,
Thomas,
Ashton,
Mike,
Allie, Joe, Patricia, Julian,
Christian,
John,
Valentina, Stephanie,
Michael,
Laura, Nina,
John,
Peter, in Greece.
We can stop sharing the screen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So back to me, you saw at the end that all these persons that were shown, that took part in the advertisement, are shown very quickly, and even their names were depicted, and even more names than the ones of many more names. Peter, Paola, etc., 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 in Greece. So it focuses on the association, on the connection, the identification of the visitor with the place. This is also a part of the experience model that I was talking about. It's not only about going to a place and having nice services. It's about identifying yourself, connecting yourself with the place. So through all these images and the names, then the message was you in Greece, Peter in Greece, Paola, etc., you in Greece. So all these identify themselves with the place, with Athens and with Greece. And also it focuses on the issue of diversity. Diversity, all diverse profiles, diverse personalities, diverse countries, etc., always in the Western context, as you see, all this diversity, but focusing, identifying themselves with Greece. And then there was a song playing, I can't take something like identifying again, my eyes on you, can't take my eyes off you, something like that. Also enhancing this identification of the person with the country. That was a brief analysis, and I would like to thank again our colleagues for playing this video and overcoming these difficulties. And now making some broader, based on this analysis, making some broader conclusions, remarks on of this tourism campaign, broader conclusions that can be relevant to times of crisis, and even today, tourism branding at times of crisis, and then opening to the discussion. I have already seen some colleagues raising their hands. We will have the discussion afterwards. So let me start with some comments. It is important at a period of crisis to target specific customers, not just the any tourism campaign, but especially in periods of crisis, any tourism campaign does not address to everybody. We should have in focus to whom do we address. Are they locals? Are they foreigners? And if they're foreigners, from which places? What is the profile? It is important to map, to make an analysis of what is the impact of this crisis. What kind of crisis is it? What is the impact of the crisis? Visitors from which place are affected because of the crisis and do not come to our place. And based on this, then we formulate a strategy and we say we focus on, let us say this, using this tourism campaign as an example, we focus on Western customers, and especially for summer period, and including America, Australia, etc. But at the same time, this is the first strategy. The second strategy is that we focus on Western Europeans as a city break. These are the key points, and also these are the markets that have suffered because of the crisis. So this is our target. So it is important to focus on on a specific customer niche, and adjust the whole strategy, the whole media, etc., to this specific niche. The second thing is to have the key message of this is that how to differentiate from the competitors targeting the same or similar niche markets. This is a crucial point. We have to find ways to enhance our to portray and enhance our competitive advantage. So what Greece does is that the Greece tourism campaign is based on sea, sun, and culture. If you want to find sea and sun, there are destinations all around the world that one can go. You could go. But if you want to combine sea, sun, and culture, Greece is a very unique destination because of the strong cultural and especially heritage that it conveys. This is the competitive advantage. So based on that, as we said before, Greece has all the modern facilities, has all contemporary culture, etc., like any Western destination, but at the same time, it has a competitive advantage, which is heritage. And not just any kind of heritage, but the cradle of democracy, Western cultures, Western civilization, etc. So it is important to find a competitive advantage on that. And the third thing that we should focus, especially in periods of crisis, is the experience thing. Why is that? Because the experience model, research has shown that the experience model is effective, particularly at periods of crisis. Therefore, it is important to focus on applying this experience model. Visiting Greece, visiting the place that we want to advertise is not just about getting good services. You can get good services everywhere. It's about this memorable, imprinted in the mind, in the soul experience. In order to do that, we have to focus on some ideological elements. Greece is the center of democracy. Greece is the center of Western civilization, etc. So we need to convey some ideological elements of that experience to make it even stronger. Another broader conclusion that one can draw is that while designing a strategy on tourism, especially at periods of crisis, it is important to mention that this destination is a safe destination. And in order to say that, because this is a sensitive issue, first of all, we cannot go, the producers of this campaign, we cannot go and say, you know, Greece is a safe destination. Who are we to tell whether our destination is safe or not? So the best way to convey this message is through somebody else, and especially through somebody else who has experiences of living in other places. That's why we take advantage of this French lady, etc. This is a sensitive issue because we cannot tell Greece is a safe place, our destination is a safe place, unlike other places that suffer from terrorism, that suffer from whatever. No, this is a very sensitive issue and we cannot say that. So this needs to be addressed in a direct way. So these were some conclusions that are important. And of course, the channel, the media through which this is conveyed is mostly through social media, etc. Because of the, because of the technological developments, digital developments. So this is one of the best way to do that. And another conclusion, and the final one before opening to the discussion, to your remarks, questions, etc., is that a way of testimonial is an economical way of doing things. So I think it's also an effective way, because people who suffer from crisis, any kind of crisis, and they choose your destination are the most appropriate ones to convey this experience, that that they could overcome their crisis, whatever, and visit your place, and they're happy, etc. These were some of the conclusions that I would like to draw. And I am open to your remarks, questions, etc. In case there are some voice issues, etc., and I cannot hear the question very clearly, I could kindly ask you to type them. But let us first, please turn on your microphone. Do not wait for me to address you. Just turn on your microphone. And or if somebody would like to coordinate the discussion, please feel to do that. So a colleague could kindly coordinate the discussion, or just turn on your microphone and please make your point, your remark. Thank you.
Participants, it's your time now. If you want to interact with our resource person, you may use raise hand option or post the questions in the chat box. Dear participants, please use the chat box to post your questions, and that will be answered by our resource person. Sir, we have a question, sir, from Madhumita.
Yes.
She wants an elaboration on how Greece is a summer destination. She wants you to elaborate on how Greece is a summer destination.
Why Greece is a summer destination?
Yes.
Greece is a summer destination mostly because of sea and sun. So the best period in order to enjoy sea and sun is the summer period, because in Greece, in the Western, I mean, summer period is the period of let's say April until October. So this is the period of nice weather. So one can go and enjoy the sea and sun. This is the ideal period to do that. Another issue of summer, Greece as a summer destination, is because in the majority of the Western countries, the breaks, the summer breaks, either breaks from work or from the holiday breaks from work, from colleges, universities, etc., is mostly in the summer. So this is also what the customers would prefer to do.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is from Brishwar Pradhan. What are the attributes of safety in context tourism?
Would you like to further elaborate this? What do you mean attributes in context tourism?
Yes, sir.
And getting back to this summer period is that it is important to focus, as I said, on the niche market and what are the interests, etc., and then on what you can offer to them. So since this is summer, then you adjust your product, your tourism product to summer. Please further elaborate the question on attributes and context tourism.
Mr. Brishwar Pradhan, if you could elaborate your question and post it in the chat box, it will be convenient for a resource person to address it. So we'll move on to the next question before that.
Yes. Yes.
What should be the approximate time frame to gauge the success or lack of success of any destination branding strategy?
That's a good issue. When it comes to in broader terms, this would be, it would require some time. At period of because it has to do with more, it would require more time. When it comes to the periods of crisis, it should be as soon as possible, as short as possible. So if there is a crisis, let's say occurring in February, then you need to develop the strategy, your tourism strategy, as soon as possible, as fast as possible, and you need to wait for very immediate results. So when it comes to crisis, this has to be a very fast process, because the issue is, you know, what we experience, I'm making some reference to this, to the current period, to the ongoing period of crisis. When pandemic crisis started, a lot of museums, archaeological sites, countries, etc., they said, even colleges, even universities, they said, let us wait for the crisis to come. This is a wrong strategy. Because, first of all, because we do not really know what would be the duration of the crisis. And, you know, doctors and experts would tell us that pandemic crisis is not a crisis of 15 days or 1 month. Or we do not know what would the impact, the duration of the impact of the crisis. So even if, for example, 9/11 terrorism attack in New York City, it happened one day, you know, even, 10 minutes, whatever it was, 30 minutes, but the impact would last for a long period of time. So based on that, we should attack, we should respond as fast as possible so that we can change the climate in favor of us. And that is why the best strategy, even in pandemic, was not to wait for the pandemic crisis to finish. We do not know that. It would be a period of uncertainty for even 1 or 2 or 3 years. It would be to adjust the strategy of tourism, the strategy of a museum, of an archaeological site, of a university, as fast as possible in order to prevent the escalation of the crisis or the escalation of the impact of the crisis. We should change the whole environment, the environment of crisis, and make it in favor of us. And we should wait for the results of this strategy. If there are no results, then we should modify our strategy as soon as possible. So let us say that the crisis, the financial crisis, starts on February. We should be ready March, April, to address that and wait for the first tourism season to see what happens. And then based on these results, we should adjust our strategy for the next tourism season. And in fact, this is what many countries did, including Greece and many other destinations did. So the previous summer was a bad summer, but they tried to have as many tourists, to attract as many tourists as possible. This summer is a much better summer.
Thank you, sir. The next question
as fast as possible. Yes?
Yes. The next question is how to market a museum in India?
Out of?
Market a museum in India. Probably the
Yes.
marketing strategy they're asking about.
Yes.
Marketing strategy. I think how to market a museum in India. I think they are asking about a marketing strategy to market a museum in India.
The best way to start is that, and this is what we also do at the university, but also in other universities as well, is to start, for example, Ahmedabad University is based on Ahmedabad. So the question would be, even for tourism, so Ahmedabad city authorities, municipality authorities, or even or museums, etc., is to start targeting on the local context, on a more regional context, on a state context, and even on a more broader, partly international context, and see what are the competitive. These are different contexts. So it's not that it would be the same strategy for all these. It should be a different strategy, and then see what is the competitive advantage of our museum, of our organization, tourism, country, whatever, state, from other similar organization, museum, states in all these places. So when we did this exercise with students, we developed some strategies of tourism of Ahmedabad that could be addressed to the local, to the citizens, to the state of Gujarat, to the within India, and also internationally. And they were all different strategies. And this was the first step. And the second step is how to even to try to make links between these strategies in order to further enhance the message. Because, for example, even if the strategy towards locals, the strategy towards the state of Gujarat, and the strategy towards India, the country of India, might be different, it would be interesting to make links between them in order to further enhance this message that you are trying to convey. This would be the way to proceed. But as I said before that, we need to make a mapping of the internal, the external environment, etc., and then to formulate strategies in these 4 levels that as I mentioned. This would be my answer.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So how can we encourage Indian people to visit museums?
I think that I would not start from there because you know no museum is a Western and a modern concept. So I will not start from the concept of first we open a museum, we establish a museum, and then we try to make people get to our museum. The way I would address that is that because museum is an artificial context, it's, you know, we put items that were belong to a place, to an archaeological site, etc. So I would start this community involvement from the very beginning. I would start even from the excavation, then the importance of the finds, then what are we going to do with the finds? An option would be to make an in situ museum. An option would be to make to put them in a museum, to construct a museum in a different city within the same state, or the option would be to take them to a central museum, for example, you know, in New Delhi, etc. So the community involvement would start from early on. We should not just open a museum and then design the museum and then ask the people to come. This is a very late stage for that. So as soon as we find the location to build a museum, then how should we design a museum? We should involve people in this museum designing experience. There are a lot of good examples of eco-museums or community museums, etc. So we should start from that. If a museum has already opened, so this discussion that I'm making is not relevant because the museum, okay, it's constructed one way or another, it's ready, and you know the halls, the exhibition halls, etc., are already designed. Then we should try to understand what is the importance and what is the relevance of these objects to the people of today. In most of the cases, it's not the fault of the people who do not go to the museums. It's the fault of us, heritage professionals, that do not include, do not talk to the people about the significance, or even do not ask the local people whether what we do, the way we construct museums, the way we design exhibition halls, is the right or a wrong one. So we adjust the exhibition halls, the arrangement, the structure of exhibition halls based on the remarks of the people. So we make the people part of what we are doing in the museum. It's not that we dictate everything to them and to the public, to a general public, to a non-educated public, and we are trying to train them and take them in the right path in our museum. This is not the right way to do that. We should learn from the people. We should, whatever we do, should bring benefits to the local community. So this is the way forward. And then we have educational programs, not to train the people, but mostly to understand what is the connection of the people with with what we do.
Thank you,
we
sir.
learn from the people. We learn from the people. We do not teach people.
Yes. So we have 3 questions from Ira Rawat. First one is, what is the famous food in Greece? Second one, is Greece cheap for tourism? Third one is, what are the best adventurous things to do in Greece?
What was the adventure? Was the adventure?
Adventurous things to do in Greece.
And famous, etc. The answer to that is that there is no specific answer to that. For example, a a dish is moussaka. It's made of pork. So Indians would not prefer that. So there is no specific answer to this question. It's how we identify niche markets and then we adjust to the niche markets. It is very important. The adventure is what anyone finds, every niche market finds adventurous. What would be adventurous for me might not be adventurous for another person. What would be a delicious food for me might not be a delicious food for another person, or it might be not, kind of legitimate for religious purposes or social purposes or vegan or whatever to have this food. So it all depends on how to match the customer needs. And it's also important to, for example, my wedding, it took place in Greece some years ago. I had some, I brought some friends of mine who are Indian, and I adjusted all the cuisine to their interests, so they felt part of the celebration. It's not just that you are going to tell them, we have 10 dishes, but especially for you, we have these 2 dishes that we made them for you. This is not a right way of treating friends, because you're trying to you're trying to help them special and better, but in fact you exclude them from what is going on, because you make you draw a separate line between the 10 dishes that are for everybody and these 2 dishes that are for them. So what I did is that I adjusted all dishes for everybody, but also for them. So I told them, you can eat, because the first question that they were making is, does this contain pork, etc. So I told them, you can eat whatever you want. Please feel free. Of course, if there is an issue of allergy, it has to do with anybody, but you can have whatever you want. This made them part of the community, part of the celebration, part of the event. And do you know how many people, and they were friends, got back to me and told me how special they felt about that? So, in the same way, when you bring some customers, for example, from India, and in some cases, I'm also a tourist guide, so I give some customized tours to persons from India. I know what their interests are.
So please unmute your audio, sir.
Specifically to them. See the Acropolis, but at the same time, they want to see, to do some shopping. They do want to do some, to visit some other places, just the historical center. They want to go to some Indian restaurants, or they would like to go to some other restaurants where there should be sufficient food for them. So one has to design a whole tour customized just for the people of India. So what is adventurous for somebody might not be for another person. What is a delicious food? One has to make everything customized to them. And at the same time, give them the freedom, but within the tour, to make some changes wherever this is possible, according to their needs. Now I'm tired. I would like to have this, or this, or this. This is a very important issue. So it should not, we start from what the tourists want and adjust ourselves to the visitors, to the tourists, and make them feel special as home. So I gave an answer to, I think, to all 3 questions.
Yes, sir. We have another question, sir. How do you see Indian people and Greece people's perception towards visiting museum? Perception on visiting museums, sir.
Yeah, I got it. I think that both countries are countries where state authorities have heritage management is run in a very centralized way, where heritage authorities have the power, and they are not very keen on involving communities. So in both cases, I would start from changing the attitudes of the heritage professionals, not of changing the attitude of the local people. And this is an important message that I would like to convey. We should not see ourselves, as I said before, but I would like to emphasize on that. That's why I repeat that. We should not see ourselves as dictating what is heritage, what is the significance of heritage, what are the values of heritage to the general public, to the general considered to be uneducated public. We, the experts, educating the non-experts, the general public. This is not the way we should proceed. So in both countries, because of this central power and strong power of the central authorities, of the heritage authorities, I would start with training heritage authorities. I would not start with the people themselves. And I would like to, and I would try, and this is what I'm trying, in fact. So I'm trying to establish connections between the heritage authorities and the local communities, so that they both try to establish a shared way of understanding heritage, a shared way of taking decisions of heritage, a shared way of reviewing these decisions of heritage, a sharing way of um, bringing benefits to the life, to the people of today through heritage management. This is a key issue. What benefits can heritage management, can tourism, can all what we do in heritage, what are the benefits brought to the local communities? What are the benefits of this heritage management, of this conservation process? This is a very, very key point. And then we should address heritage management techniques, business management techniques, etc., in order to bring benefits to the local communities. This is the starting point. This is the core. I believe this is the core of the education that we should provide to our students.
Thank you, sir. So what will be the strategy to draw the attention of Western travelers to India after COVID-19?
Of distant, you said? I didn't get
what will be the strategy to draw the attention of Western travelers to
Western
visit
travelers
post COVID-19 period?
Post COVID-19 period.
Yes.
First of all, one of the ways to do that is to I think we have to understand the profile of COVID period to the Western um, uh, society and Western travelers. Why is that? Because I mean the so-called non-Western. I don't like these terms, Western and non-Western. We just use them for practical reasons in order to advance our discussion. Okay, so let us keep using them. The non-Western world has gone through several crises, continual crises, and even pandemic crises, and has learned to live within this unstable environment. Some years ago, you had, Sears, hygiene crisis, etc. And there are, in general, there are a lot of unstable conditions. While the shock of 9/11 and then the shock of COVID was that it affected Western people who were not used to living in uncertain environments. That was a shock to them. If a person, for example, lives in the center of London, okay, they have their jobs, they have their families there, they earn some good money. They're not afraid of anything. Nothing can go wrong. And then you have a COVID crisis that can affect even them. So it is one of the first, and this also happened in New York City. What can go bad in New York City? The answer would be nothing. But still, 9/11 gave the message that, even in the heart of New York City, something can go terribly bad, terribly wrong. So this is one of the first periods that the Western people experience not no safety, danger. Into this kind of thing, if we go back to how heritage conservation, but also how tourism started, and this has to do with the concept of authenticity. The Western world, conservation, heritage management world in the 19th century, because of this concept of authenticity. And why is that? Because in the 17th, especially 19th century, 18th and 19th century, the Western civilization the Western world went through a lot of revolutions, French Revolution, Industrial Revolution, etc., that brought a strike against this, brought a lot of changes, rapid changes. So in this fast changing world of 18th and 19th century, heritage meant something untouched by change, something eternal, something bright, something pristine, something authentic. I think that we live in a similar period that Western people would seek destinations untouched by the present, not changing. So they would seek authenticity, eternal destinations. So in their mind, this concept of exotic destinations, but linked to authentic destinations, I think this would be, psychologically speaking, this would be very attractive to them. Last year, getting back to that, last year, the tourism policy of Greece, the tourism advertising just showed within the period of coronavirus, of the peak of coronavirus, just showed an image of a person lying on a wonderful beach, as if this person had been there forever, for his whole life on this beach. And the message was, Greece is a state of mind. In order to convey this authenticity, this paradise, untouched paradise, this eternity, this eternal thing, state of mind. It's not just, a good experience, it's a state of mind. internal beauty, internal safety of mind. So based on this, so I made this link to how the whole heritage management and tourism, things started, industry started. I made the link to last year. So I think that the best way is to eternal India, eternal paradise, mystical India, this esoteric, this beyond beyond the adventures of today, beyond the adventures of 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 the current life, India. And there is a lot of religious, yoga as the original yoga retreat, as Buddhism, as concepts, as Hindu concepts, as mystical India, eternal India, as a kind of state of mind, safe state of mind. Do you get my point? This would be a strong message to convey. And of course, there would be, some monuments attached to that. There would be some, like the image of a Buddha praying. He prays forever. And, the heritage of a statue of a Buddha praying forever. That, the concept, or a Hindu praying forever. The concept is that go beyond the problems and the difficulties of this life, not just of COVID life, of this life, and focus on your mystical part. And this would also address the issues of psychology, because COVID is not only about not having money, has a very psychological impact. So my opinion, my suggestion would be focused on this issue of mystical, eternal India, through Buddhism, through Hinduism, through some heritage that is there forever, linked to some food that is there for ages, some contemporary, some traditional knowledge systems, traditional dances that have been there forever, some religious practices or yoga practices that have been there forever. To the Western minds, India is the birthplace of yoga. I don't know whether this is historical true or not, but this is a very strong point to take advantage of. So in these difficult periods, everybody would go to seek the mystical roots. And India has a lot to offer to that. Sorry to say, but I think that this opinion is a very good opinion. And I would highly recommend to further elaborate on that.
Yes, sir.
Other questions?
Sir, in your experience, what are the things that attracts more in Acropolis Museum and why?
Attracts more Acropolis Museum?
Probably the display is asking. What are the most attractive things in Acropolis Museum and why?
The most attractive, yes, we made a survey also, with a visitor survey from local and especially foreign visitors. Today's topic, but also this is available in open access in academia. So I will just give you the titles of that. The title of this is Branding Athens at a Time of Crisis, a semiotic analysis of the current tourism campaign of the historic city. You can find that. And the other one, based on this, it's bridging heritage and business, heritage management and business, visiting Greece as a customer, visiting Greece or the Acropolis Museum as a customer experience. So these two research papers are in open access, available in academia. So feel free to, or I could send them to you by email, and please, address them to your to all the participants. this conference. So what so I'm not starting with what my opinion is. I'm starting with what the visitors say. So what the visitors found more important in the Acropolis Museum is the location, and it is next to the Acropolis site, as we saw on the video. But so the most important element of the museum visit is not the exhibits themselves, but the connection, the visual connection of the museum to the site. One, from the museum is constructed through glass, has glass around it, has not walls, but it has glass. So from within the museum, you can see the Acropolis site. So you can see the exhibits of the Acropolis inside the museum, and then make a direct visual connection with the Acropolis itself. This is the most important element. It's not an exhibit itself, is the connection between the exhibit and the actual site. This is what the visitors said, and I could say that I would agree on this opinion of the visitor. So you see, again, it's not about how we, what kind of items we put in a museum. The question is, how do we make the link of this museum to the outside environment, physically, like the Acropolis, or symbolically, the local community, etc. We have a very object-based approach to heritage management. This is a wrong approach. We have to link the objects to the context and to the local community. Other questions?
Yes. So we have a question from Girish Kumar.
Yes.
Before the question, he has appreciated your talk, and he's asking that, he's asking you to explore, in your opinion, building a virtual heritage information system for the knowledge associated with the museum, which can enhance its marketing.
Yes, it can enhance its marketing as long as it does not replace the actual visiting experience. So even in the period of COVID, where everybody was saying, you know, put as much material as possible on the web, etc., my own opinion is that always keep your strongest points for yourself, for an actual visit. So do not try to replace the digital visiting experience from the actual visiting experience. So try to convey some information on the digital way, try to make money out of this digital platform, etc. But always remember to link the digital to the actual thing, to the actual experience, to the real experience. And always keep the strong points for the actual, the real visiting experience. This would be my my advice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. These are the questions that have been posted by the participants, and you have patiently answered all the questions. Right from the beginning of your session, it was so simple, but very, very effective. You started with a video showing the culture of Greece, and those videos are really a witness that Greece is a unique destination for a summer visit. And regarding the marketing perspective, you told about enhancing competitive advantage, as well as marketing, not the product, but the experience. These are very, very enriching and eye-opener for the people who are interested in tourism and traveling. Thank you, sir, for the beautiful session that you have given us. In spite of a technical clinch, you have made it 100% and you have done a great job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best to everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, sir. Thank you so much. Dear participants, now it's time to end this session. And this brings the end of the second day of the 5-day faculty development program organized by St. Joseph's College and Atel Academy, entitled Heritage Management, a Business Perspective. The attendance link is posted in the chat box. You are expected to fill in the attendance link within 15 minutes, starting now. Dear participants, once again,